democracy remains a watershed in the nation's history. Since the return of Nigeria's democracy, there is increasing awareness on the need to participate in the electoral process, given the emphasis on the rights of the people and the freedom of choice. Within the last 26 years, democratic governance in Nigeria has had its fair share of challenges. Stakeholders opine that citizens must commit to building a country of their dream, suggesting that citizens' participation in democracy is key to making government more responsive and equitable in the allocation of resources. And that's our focus on Panorama from Port Harcourt Network Center. I am Jenny Bassi. You're welcome. Minister of Works David Umahi says the 30.57-kilometer border of Bonny Link Road in Rivers State is likely to beat the December deadline for inauguration. The minister was on inspection of the project and other ongoing road infrastructure in Rivers State. Robinson Darataide reports that he cautioned against misleading information by faceless stakeholders in the country.
This is the 35.7 kilometers road spanning through difficult swampy terrain. It amounts to 200 billion naira. The Bodoboni Link Road has reached an advanced stage of about 85% with all the 9 bridges completed. Minister of Works Dave Umahi, while proposing a second phase dual carriageway from Bonny to the East-West Road.
What Beja can do on their own is to put stone base on this 5.3 and very quickly, and then do maybe 40 cm of 40 millimeter of asphalt, just wearing, and if possible after 1 year they can use concrete to do it.
All the bridges are completed except for when I say there are some areas that you've seen is only remaining, but we have those materials on ground, the expansion joints.
The minister was impressed with the level of work on the second phase of the One Eleme East-West Road, including the bridge and flyover, insisting that it was the first completed section of the road that was inaugurated.
We are done with phase 1, and that's what we commissioned, and that's one full carriageway. You may see some little disjointed portion. That is where the flyover, ramps are supposed to come.
At the flood-washed Zarama and Ahoda axis of the East-West Road in Bayelsa and River States, a completed lane is already open to traffic. The minister had initially inspected a few sections on the Aba-Port Harcourt Road, urging the contractor to increase his pace. In Port Harcourt, Robinson Darataide, NTA News.
One city at a time, Nigeria is implementing comprehensive inclusion of displaced members of the society. Their resettlement going hand in hand with empowerment and skills acquisition. Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu said this while inaugurating the Renewed Hope Resettlement City in Yakande's community in Kefi, Nasarawa State, for displaced persons. State House correspondent Adeniyi Taiwo reports.
Yakande village is a serene community located in the deep recess of Kefi, Nasarawa State. Its skyline is now dotted with the Senator Oluremi Tinubu IDP Resettlement City, established by the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and IDPs, and currently home to about 239 persons of concern who have been displaced from their homes. Flying on the wings of compassion, Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu is here to put a name and voice behind ongoing federal government efforts to give the IDPs a new lease of life and promote their inclusion.
Today's occasion represents progress in a national effort to restore hope, dignity, safety, and patriotism to fellow Nigerians who have been displaced from their homes due to circumstances, communal clashes, and natural disasters.
The inauguration of the city is a milestone, but to effectively change the narrative for the IDPs, she says there is more to be done.
Our work does not end here. It is also encouraging to hear that the resettlement city is equipped with greenhouses, vocational training centers, a police station, and a clinic. This will no doubt go a long way in helping the families to settle down and be independent. To the families being settled here today, I say this is a new dawn.
They lived purely on farming. And today, once they get away from the farming activities, it's a problem. And that's the reason why we decided to give them 100 hectares of land so they can go and continue with the farming activities.
For displaced people, your voice is heard. You are seen.
The Ministry of Women Affairs stands ready to scale up all interventions, not just for the IDPs that will be reintegrated today, but for all persons of concern in the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
This center will offer practical training in viable bankable crafts, enabling thousands of persons of concern to acquire sustainable means of income. I have this message for my friend. He's the best president. He's our friend today. He will be our friend tomorrow. We are home away from home.
In furtherance of our directive to put money in the hands of women, a business recapitalization grant of 200,000 naira was presented to women in each of the households. From Yakande village in Kefi, Adeni Itaiwo, NTA News.
In the face of frequent vandalism of public infrastructure, stakeholders are calling for more effective community engagement to engender a sense of ownership and participation in protecting public property. Kingsley Amajiri reports.
Public infrastructure and national assets can be found in communities across the nation. Many of these infrastructure provide social and utility service to the inhabitants. Regrettably, however, public property are often vandalized, defeating the essence of establishing the projects. How to protect these public infrastructure from activities of vandals is currently dominating public discourse. Oil pipeline installation, electricity facilities, manhole covers, and school installations are among government facilities often vandalized.
Moving away from where the government's eye are not, the community people can also form the vigilante, which is a new concept now that is coming up. That indigenous security mechanism that begin to guide both human and property.
We need synergy, we need collaboration to make sure that, yes, the mindset must be changed. Advocacy has to be there.
The owners of those facilities, when it comes to like telecommunication, the mass and other things, should also be properly monitored using a tracking system.
The latest effort by the government via its various agencies have seen agencies engage locals through town hall meetings where grey issues are addressed.
It is only when intelligence fails that crime can be committed. And also all hands should be on deck to ensuring that they provide adequate information that will be converted to intelligence to the security agencies.
Analysts want community leaders to also help drive the campaign for the populace to appreciate that these key infrastructures are put in place to serve their needs. In Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
President Bola Tinubu felicitates former head of state and elder statesman General Abdul Salam Abubakar, retired, on his 83rd birthday. He salutes him for his decades of exceptional service to Nigeria, both in uniform and retirement, and commend his steadfast commitment to peace, stability, and good governance across the African continent. General Abubakar's legacy, particularly his role in leading Nigeria through a peaceful transition to democracy rule in 1999, remains a watershed moment in the nation's history. His selfless act of handing over power paved the way for Nigeria's Fourth Republic and strengthened the principle of constitutional democracy. As chairman of the National Peace Committee, General Abubakar has continued to play a significant role in promoting dialogue, diffusing tension, and ensuring credible electoral processes in Nigeria. His voice of moderation, reason, and statesmanship is deeply valued in a time where unity and leadership are more critical than ever. As he marks another year of life, Nigeria honors his sacrifices, wisdom, and unyielding devotion to the peace and unity of the nation. The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Agbetokun, approves an extension of the grace period for enforcing the tinted glass permit requirement. The new deadline is now August 12, 2025. In a statement, the police says the decision follows up public concerns and feedback on the recently reactivated digital tinted glass permit application process. The Nigerian Police Force reaffirms its commitment to transparent, inclusive, and citizens-focused policing, emphasizing that public input plays a key role in improving the system to ensure it is user-friendly, secure, and accessible. The extended grace period allows more time for system upgrades and application process improvement. Nigerians have continued to speak on Nigeria's 26 years of uninterrupted democracy. Some stakeholders in Port Harcourt are urging citizens to be more involved in the process through obedience to the rule of law. This is as Joy Uzo explores the most effective ways individuals can engage in and uphold democratic processes.
With the celebration of another Democracy Day in Nigeria, emphasis have been laid on the need for stronger civic engagement and a renewed sense of responsibility among citizens to protect and uphold democratic governance. Unlike oligarchy, a democratic government exists to serve the people. But citizens in democracy must also agree to abide by rules and regulations by which they are governed.
Citizens' role will include to be involved in every political process that's ongoing, and also encourage people. Nigerians should learn to pay tax. Pay your tax because government derive revenue from taxes. At the same time, Nigerians should learn to obey laws. People drive against traffic, there's impunity. Nobody looks at the other Nigerian as anything because people feel that, oh, I can always call this, I can always call that. Where your right stops, that's where the other person's right begins. So if citizens are able to do all this, I think we'll have a better country.
Other stakeholders are of the opinion that advancing Nigeria's democratic processes will also entail upholding citizens' freedom that is guaranteed by an independent judiciary and legislature.
The very beautiful future of democracy is freedom. And freedom can only be guaranteed by an independent judiciary.
Equal rights, respect for human rights, respect for minorities. It seems that our own democratic pattern is tilting towards the majority ethnic democratic system.
As the country reflects on its democratic journey, one clear message emerges: democracy must be actively practiced through daily civic involvement.
The social media space, though still largely under-regulated, has been noted to promote active citizen participation in democratic governance, advancing the system of checks and balances and giving a voice to the voiceless. In Port Harcourt, I'm Joy Uzo, NTA News.
And to speak on that, and of course the merits of democracy in Nigeria is none other than Dr. Emma Weke. Dr. Emma Weke is a lecturer and also a political analyst. You're welcome, Doctor.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, viewers.
Thank you. Now, when we say citizens' participation, what readily comes to your mind, or what is citizens' participation in a democracy?
When we talk about citizens' participation, we are talking about the contribution of citizens. Then citizens here will refer to the leaders and the led. So the other flank of it, which is the led, that is what comes to mind when we talk about citizens' participation in democratic process. Citizens' participation in governance means that the people is talking about people centricity, that the people is the fulcrum of any democratic process.
Okay, now let's talk about the merits what are the merits of citizens' participation? Are there any advantage?
The merits of citizens' participation is that is where the leaders will have the real feedback. You don't get feedback from the elitist perspective, point of view. When you talk about the issues around the Nigerian economy, issues around the Nigerian socio-political milieu, you get it from these citizens. You don't get it from up there, from the grassroots. And the grassroots is where the citizens dwell. That is where you find the people. So leadership, governance, democratic process is all about the people. What are the people? What is the pain of the people? What are they crying about? What are their issues? So this, you get the feedback. And I've always said that the one best way government can always get feedback from the real people is through direct impact researches. And we have tertiary institutions, professors, academic doctors who go into researches that are not, viewed into, are not looked into. So if you have these direct impact researches, you hear directly from the people, not from politicians, I think Nigeria will be a better place. We have politicians that are disposed, to help the people, to serve the nation, that are patriotic, but because they are away from the real information arena, some of the politicians around them may not have suffered or had experiences of what so many Nigerians are passing through. We have power shortage. Not so many politicians have had power outage for up to an hour. So it is possible that they will not have the real information of what the people pass through around power. Or you talk about sanitation. So persons live in a top-notch hygiene environment. So when you do the direct impact research, you can get direct feedback from the people.
Okay. Now, a lot of the people, like you said, do not know that they have the right to participate in democracy. So what is government role in terms of sensitizing these people?
Government has a department or a unit that the Nigerian government has a department or unit that's called the National Orientation Agency. It is their role to create awareness to the people, tell the people be informed the ways and processes of making their contributions to political leadership. It could come through, the government should not be people opinion proof. There shouldn't be any form of superimposition. The voices of the people should be allowed, into the domains of power. And that can be done, awareness can be done through these agencies of government. If they are informed how the processes on which they have to take government their problems, and then the protection of government, government agency of protection is the police and the military. Their role when citizens come to, lend their voice to the governance process, how are they protected? You don't shoot at them. You don't haul at them. You don't do any form of intimidation. You get the feedback. These are the real people, the people that the government is working for, the repayers of the government, the citizens that are leading us. So they must be heard. And I want to urge that the part of the orientation, part of the campaign, part of the awareness of any agency of government that has it as the basics of role, responsibility, is to ensure that the people are properly put into form on how they pass their information or contributions to governance.
Okay, so what are the challenges? Because we know that not everyone has the ability to understand the political processes. So now, how can ICT facilitate citizens' engagement?
ICT is an aspect of technology, and technology is built around the people's behavioral pattern. So if in Nigeria we talk about how ICT can help in governance, the people aspect of governance, we are looking at the domestication of ICT. We are looking at domesticating the process in terms of linguistics. So, when you bring it down to the people and use the people's language, you'll find that the people will be at home. They feel at ease that this is their own people. When you are giving information awareness to the people, and then you use a foreign background, the people still see it as something that is not peculiar to them. But when you use a language in terms of environment or socio-political milieu that is peculiar and familiar to the people, you find that the people will feel at home and have a sense of belonging. So technology is the way to go. Let it be broken down into the people's language. Let it be broken down into the people's sense of reasoning, the awareness, the level of knowledge around the people that you are domesticating it to.
All right. Now, Nigeria just marked its 26th democracy, uninterrupted democracy, a few days ago. Now, Are there ways to target citizens' participation and engagement? If so, what are the ways they can do that?
One major thing we talk about democracy is freedom. And one major dividend of democracy is freedom. And that's because in the military regime, you could see infrastructures. The government built civil infrastructures. Now, when you allow freedom, when you allow the citizens' voice to count, the people will be encouraged to participate more.
Thank you so much. Dr. Emma Weke is a lecturer and political analyst. And now we pause for a break. Panorama continues shortly. National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, is strengthening stakeholders' collaboration in Rivers State towards enhancing proactive preparation and timely response to the 2025 flood prediction. This is in response to the 2025 annual flood outlook, which listed Rivers State among the high-risk states in Nigeria. Kingsley Amajiri reports.
This engagement of critical stakeholders at the instance of NEMA is to raise awareness, strengthen stakeholders' readiness, and timely response to flood risk communities in the event of any emergency. With past flood incidents in Nigeria, which recorded loss of lives, damage to property and infrastructure, as well as economic livelihoods, NEMA Director General says the agency is deploying disaster mitigation strategies and evacuation plans for anticipated emergencies.
What we are doing is an effort by the National Emergency Management Agency to bring these predictions to the grassroots by scaling these predictions and the disaster management implications of these predictions to the states and the local governments.
The stakeholders' engagement provided opportunity for input from participants who share thoughts on proactive actions to take.
My advice now is this: we should adhere strictly to the early warning signals as they have been disseminated by the relevant authority.
I want us to take the message seriously. Two speakers have talked about building right. In other words, taking over planning seriously.
Once we begin to see floods are coming, certainly will be equal to the task. But for now, I think we are making all preparations to see how that can be remedied.
NEMA, alongside Federal Fire Service and Nigerian Red Cross Society, visited Abloma community, where emergency intervention response mechanism was demonstrated and first aid kits presented to the community. In Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
For stories trending in the sporting world, let's join Oche Mbede on Sports Update.
Let's begin by telling you that over 100 elite archers are set to compete in multiple categories of the inaugural edition of the Zeng Archery Lagos International Open Tournament, scheduled for June 18 to 21st at the Mobolaji Johnson Sports Arena, Onikon. The organizer said the event will set the pace for the development of the sport in Nigeria and put the country on the global archery map as 16 different clubs, home and abroad, will vie for honors in 5 competitive divisions.
So we're looking forward to the next Olympics, to the next 2 Olympics, to be able to even develop stars that can represent Nigeria and make Nigeria proud.
We are going to be using the World Archery Regulations to score so that it is at that standard. 2, we are going to be launching the ranking for Nigeria, so all the athletes will be ranked.
To athletics, as promising young athletes from 8 senior secondary schools, 8 junior secondary schools and 3 primary schools across Abuja blazed down the track with passion and purpose, demonstrating raw talent on the track of the main bowl of the Moshood Abiola National Stadium, Abuja, for the 6th Annual Secondary Schools Girls Relay Race, organized by the National Association of Women in Sport, NAWIS. The competition, which features queens of the track from the various schools, according to the organizers, was aimed at uncovering young talents.
It's something I inherited from my dad, and I want to take it, to stretch it forward, and because my father wasn't able to participate, and I want to stand in line for him.
They brought everybody here to showcase their talent,
the Nawis. I want to say a big thank you for them for organizing this beautiful program.
Most of the parents don't allow their children, especially girls, to participate in sports because of the negative news that they are hearing about sexual harassment. And Nawis is doing all she can do to protect the girls.
And finally, to the UFC, Nigerian nightmare Kamaru Usman, needing a bounce back from a 3 consecutive defeat and a first victory since 2021, was in a good form, taking the fight to Jocelyn Buckley, who was on a 6-match winning streak. At the end of the 5 battling round, Usman got the victory with his lead on all the judges' card, 49-46, 49-46 and 48-47 for a unanimous victory. With Sports Update, Oche Ngberi, NTA News.
And that's it on Panorama from Port Harcourt Network Center. Thanks for watching. Good afternoon.